There comes a time in every person's life when they begin to feel that the world is speaking to them in ways beyond language, beyond coincidence, beyond logic. This is the feeling that something greater, unseen, is at work, guiding, aligning, and quietly orchestrating events that lead to transformation. This book only appears when the universe knows you're ready is more than just a phrase. It's a truth hidden in plain sight. It speaks of readiness, of divine timing, of spiritual maturity that comes not from years, but from the depth of one's experiences, sufferings, awakenings, and willingness to see. The idea that a book, or perhaps a message, a lesson, or a truth, appears only when one is ready is deeply intertwined with the mysterious law of synchronicity. It's the understanding that the universe does not waste its secrets on the unprepared. There are lessons you cannot rush into, no matter how much you wish to. There are truths that would overwhelm you if given too early. Just as a seed cannot bloom before it breaks open, and a caterpillar cannot fly before it dissolves into nothing, the human soul cannot grasp certain knowledge until it has endured enough to understand its value. Many people go through life searching endlessly for answers. Books, teachers, philosophies, religions, self-help, and meditation. But what they do not realize is that they can read thousands of books and still find nothing if their hearts are closed. Readiness is not about intellect. It is about inner stillness. It's when the noise of the ego quiets down enough for you to hear what was always there. The book, in this sense, does not literally appear. It manifests through awareness. It could be an actual book, a person, a random quote, a moment of clarity, or a painful event. When the universe knows you are ready, it places before you exactly what you need, and it will come disguised in whatever form will pierce your illusions the most. For one person, it could be a breakup that awakens them. For another, it might be a loss, a failure, a long period of loneliness. Each experience, though painful, acts as a mirror reflecting who you truly are beneath the layers of pretense. When the universe knows you are ready, you begin to notice patterns that were invisible before. You may start seeing recurring numbers, hearing the same phrase in different places, meeting people who all point you in one direction. These are not accidents. They are the language of alignment. But the universe only speaks this language clearly to those who have begun to listen with their souls instead of their fears. It knows when your curiosity is genuine, when your desire to change is real, when your heart can finally hold the weight of truth. Because truth, though beautiful, is heavy. It dismantles everything false in its path. That is why the book waits. It knows that an unreadied soul would reject it, mock it, or misunderstand it entirely. But when you are ready, the same words that once seemed meaningless will pierce you like light through darkness. There is an ancient rhythm to how wisdom unfolds. You are never denied anything. You are only delayed until you can receive it without destroying yourself. Imagine a child trying to hold fire. Without maturity, it burns. But when they learn control, it gives warmth, light, and power. The same is true of divine knowledge. The universe tests you through delay, disappointment, and waiting so that your mind grows strong enough to interpret meaning instead of running from it. Every heartbreak, every rejection, every period of silence is the universe preparing you for a book you will one day read with new eyes. Perhaps that's why, in moments of stillness, you may feel a pull toward a certain message or teacher. You might stumble upon a random video, a quote, or a story that feels like it was written just for you. You read it and feel an electric sense of recognition, as if you've known it forever. That's the book appearing. It doesn't appear because it was hidden. It appears because you finally became capable of seeing it. Spiritual readiness is the key that unlocks what was always waiting for you. The universe is patient. It watches as you chase illusions, build and break, succeed and fail, love and lose. It doesn't interfere, because those experiences are the pages that must be written before you can understand the book's language. Only when your heart has softened enough, when pride has cracked open, when you've grown tired of shallow answers, does the universe gently place the real lesson in front of you. It feels like a miracle, but in truth, it's the natural unfolding of energy that has been aligning all along. To be ready means you have surrendered the need to control every outcome. You have stopped demanding that life follow your timeline. You have learned to trust the pauses, the endings, the strange detours. That trust transforms you. It's like learning to read the invisible ink of existence. You begin to see that what you thought were failures were actually redirections. What felt like punishment was preparation. The moments you cursed were the same moments that carved you into the person capable of understanding the truth now sitting before you. There's a profound grace in that realization. It humbles you. You begin to see the universe not as a cruel force that withholds, but as a wise teacher who knows exactly when to reveal the next chapter. The book, then, is symbolic of awakening itself. It represents knowledge that cannot be given, only realized. You might have walked past it 100 times before, but until your vibration matched its message, it remained invisible. This is why spiritual awakening often feels sudden, like the universe flipped a switch. But the truth is, it was gradual. Every experience led you here, word by word, page by page. The book's appearance also signifies trust between you and the universe. It's an acknowledgement that you are ready to co-create consciously rather than unconsciously. Until now, life may have felt random, full of chaos and unanswered questions. But now patterns emerge. You see meaning in small details. You feel guided. You understand that the universe is not outside you, it is within you, speaking through intuition, dreams, and emotion. The readiness is not just about receiving wisdom. It's about realizing you were the wisdom all along. The book does not teach you something new. It reminds you of what your soul already knew before it forgot. When people say the book appears, they mean that the veil between your higher self and your human self begins to lift. You remember that everything has purpose, even the pain. You see that every loss was an opening, every ending was an invitation to start anew. You begin to approach life not with fear, but with curiosity. You no longer ask, "Why is this happening to me?" But rather, "What is this trying to teach me?" That simple shift in perception turns every experience into a lesson, every encounter into a message, every silence into guidance. It's important to understand that readiness doesn't come from perfection. It comes from authenticity. The universe does not wait for you to become flawless. It waits for you to become real. When you drop the masks, the need to impress, the fear of being seen, you align with truth, and truth attracts truth. The book, then, finds you in your most vulnerable moment, when your ego has fallen silent and your soul is whispering louder than your mind. Sometimes readiness is born from pain. The human heart grows most in darkness. You learn compassion through suffering, strength through weakness, and wisdom through mistakes. That's why the universe doesn't protect you from difficulty. It refines you through it. The fires you've walked through have burned away illusions, leaving only the essence of who you are. And it's that essence that finally understands the language of the book when it appears. As you read its message, whether literal or metaphorical, you begin to experience a sense of homecoming. The words feel familiar, as if they are echoing something you've always known but forgotten. That recognition is your higher self nodding in agreement. The universe is confirming that you are no longer the person who was searching blindly. You are the one who sees. The journey doesn't end with the book, it begins there. Because once you awaken, you realize that every new lesson is another book, another chapter, another unfolding of truth that meets you at the level you've grown into. This is why it's said that the same book reads differently at different times. What once seemed confusing may later feel profound. The universe reintroduces lessons when you are ready to understand them more deeply. Growth is infinite. There is always another layer waiting to be revealed. You never stop evolving, and therefore the universe never stops teaching. When you truly embrace the idea that the book appears when you are ready, you stop comparing your journey to others. You understand that everyone's timing is sacred. Some people awaken through love, others through loss. Some read the book early, others much later. But all arrive when they are meant to. You begin to feel peace in knowing that there's no rush, no competition, no right or wrong path. Everything unfolds according to divine timing, and your readiness is written into that rhythm. In the end, this idea is not about a book. It's about your relationship with the unseen intelligence guiding your life. The book represents alignment, the meeting point between destiny and free will, between divine plan and personal effort. You do not find it by chasing. You find it by being. You become still enough, aware enough, humble enough, and the universe delivers it to you as naturally as breath. And when it does, you'll know. You'll feel it in your chest, that deep resonance that says, "This is what I was meant to see now," is not just a poetic phrase. It's a message wrapped in deep spiritual truth. It speaks to the timing of transformation, to the readiness of the soul, and to the mysterious ways in which the universe aligns lessons, opportunities, and experiences exactly when you're capable of understanding them. Life has a strange rhythm, one that cannot be rushed, manipulated, or forced. There are things that only reveal themselves when your heart is mature enough, when your spirit has been broken open by experience, and when your perspective has grown wide enough to truly receive them. The meaning behind this phrase isn't about a literal book. It's about knowledge, wisdom, and enlightenment that come only when you're ready to see beyond illusions. Imagine walking into a library filled with infinite knowledge, truths about life, love, loss, destiny, and purpose. You could pick any book, but the librarian, who represents the universe, knows something you don't. If you read certain truths too early, you won't understand them. They might scare you, confuse you, or even push you away from your path. So the universe hides them from you until you've lived through enough storms, faced enough heartbreak, and grown strong enough to hold the weight of that wisdom. The book in this title is a metaphor for awakening. It appears only when you are ready, not when you demand it, not when you expect it, but when your spirit quietly reaches a level of readiness that resonates with higher truth. Every human journey has moments of confusion, longing, and searching. We all want answers. Why we suffer, why people leave, why things happen the way they do. But answers never come when we shout at the sky. They come when we've quieted the noise, when pain has softened our ego, when humility replaces pride. The universe doesn't reward impatience. It rewards surrender. That is when the book appears. When you stop forcing life to fit your plans and begin to flow with the rhythm of what's meant to be. You see, the universe is a teacher, and like any good teacher, it waits until the student is ready before giving the next lesson. Readiness isn't about age, education, or experience. It's about alignment. It's about when your frequency matches the truth you're meant to receive. Sometimes people think they're ready for success, love, or spiritual awakening, but deep down, they're not prepared to handle the responsibility, the vulnerability, or the change that comes with it. That's why the universe withholds certain things. It's not punishing you. It's protecting you. You don't hand a child a sword before they've learned self-control. Likewise, the universe won't hand you a chapter of destiny you can't yet interpret with wisdom. The delay is not denial. It's divine timing. There are people who go through life chasing meaning in books, teachers, and experiences, hoping to find answers. But true wisdom often hides in plain sight. It reveals itself not through words, but through the way life unfolds. The heartbreak that shattered you, the betrayal that hardened your heart, the loneliness that kept you awake at night. All of these experiences were preparing you for a page in the book that you weren't ready to read before. Pain itself is the ink that writes wisdom on the pages of your soul. The universe is always teaching, always whispering, but the question is, are you ready to listen? When the universe decides you are ready, it sends signs, coincidences, and people that lead you to the truth. You start noticing patterns, messages in songs, dreams that feel real, and books that fall into your hands at the perfect moment. These are not accidents. They're divine breadcrumbs leading you toward your awakening. You may pick up a book one day that changes everything, and you'll realize it was there all along. You just weren't ready to see it before. Readiness is about vibration. When you shift your inner frequency through growth, humility, and awareness, you unlock new layers of life's wisdom. There's a quiet beauty in understanding that everything happens when it's meant to. You stop comparing your journey to others, stop rushing, and start trusting the process. When you accept that the universe operates with perfect timing, you move from anxiety to faith. You begin to see why certain doors had to close, why some people had to leave, and why you had to walk through darkness before finding light. Those moments were part of your initiation. They were the universe preparing you to hold the wisdom written in your book. Without them, the words wouldn't make sense, because wisdom without experience is just information. It's the pain, the patience, and the perseverance that turn information into transformation. Sometimes you meet people who are still reading the earlier chapters of their lives. They haven't yet faced the heartbreaks or lessons that awaken understanding. You can't rush them. Everyone's book appears at their own time. Trying to force someone to understand a truth they're not ready for only creates resistance. That's why the title reminds us to have compassion for ourselves and others. You can't expect someone to read a book that's invisible to them. Their universe hasn't revealed it yet. All you can do is walk your own path and trust that their moment will come when it's meant to. This message also invites humility. Many people think they're spiritually advanced, but true readiness isn't about how much you know. It's about how deeply you live with awareness, kindness, and surrender. The more you grow, the more you realize how little you actually know. The universe hides certain truths not because it's cruel, but because understanding them prematurely could cause confusion or harm. When you are truly ready, wisdom comes not as a loud announcement, but as a whisper that feels like remembering something you always knew. The book doesn't appear as a new object. It's like a veil lifting, revealing something that's been there all along. Every experience you've had, every person you've met, every failure, every moment of doubt, they're all paragraphs in the invisible book of your life. The universe writes in silence, and the pages turn when you heal, forgive, and accept. Some pages are filled with joy, some with tears, and some with lessons so heavy they take years to understand. But every chapter serves a purpose. When you look back one day, you'll see how perfectly it all connected. You'll understand why certain things had to happen exactly as they did. That's the moment the book opens fully, and you finally realize it was never about finding the book outside of yourself. It was about discovering that the book was you all along. This phrase also teaches patience with the mysteries of life. In our modern world, people want instant answers, instant success, instant healing. But spiritual growth doesn't follow human clocks. The universe works in seasons. There's a season to plant, a season to wait, a season to grow, and a season to harvest. You can't rush spring before winter ends. In the same way, you can't receive higher wisdom before you've endured the lessons that purify your understanding. If the book appeared too soon, its wisdom would overwhelm you. But when it appears at the right time, every word feels like truth resonating deep in your soul. Sometimes readiness comes after you've been broken. Pain humbles the soul in a way comfort never can. It opens your heart to empathy, gratitude, and surrender. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" That's when the book begins to appear, through inner realization, through a sense of peace that replaces struggle, through the quiet knowing that everything has meaning. The universe doesn't hand you wisdom as a gift. It shapes you into the kind of person who can hold wisdom without being destroyed by it. The process hurts, but the result is freedom. There's also an element of magic in this idea. It suggests that reality itself responds to your level of consciousness. When you vibrate at a higher frequency, through gratitude, love, awareness, and compassion, you literally tune into higher levels of truth. The book becomes visible not because it suddenly appears, but because you finally raised your energy to match it. That's why spiritual teachers often say, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. The teacher can take many forms: a person, a situation, a challenge, or a book. But what really matters is your readiness to receive the lesson. Readiness also requires letting go. As long as you cling to old beliefs, fears, or wounds, the universe can't hand you the next chapter. The book won't appear because your hands are full of the past. You have to empty yourself, release resentment, forgive yourself and others, and open your heart to change. Only then can the universe trust you with deeper truth. It's like cleaning a dusty window. The light has always been outside, but now it can finally shine through. The book appears not because the universe changed, but because you did. The deeper message of this phrase is that truth is earned through experience, not given by entitlement. The universe doesn't hide things out of cruelty. It waits for you to grow into them. That's the beauty of spiritual timing. Everything that's meant for you is already written. You just can't read it yet. When the time comes, when your heart has softened and your awareness has expanded, the words that once seemed meaningless will glow with understanding. You'll see that nothing was ever random. Every delay, every pain, every joy was a preparation for the moment when the universe finally whispered, "You're ready."